Hey, welcome to the How to Podcast series, the question of the month for September 2024. My name's Dave. Happy to be here with you. These questions of the month are doing really well, really excited. It's a little nerve-wracking creating this podcast because this particular episode is completely dependent on you, you, responding to the question of the month. If no one responds to the question of the month, then it's just me responding to my own question, which feels like I'm talking to myself. And I am kind of talking to myself right now because you're not here. And hence the problem of being a podcaster and wanting to hear the glorious voice of your listener. I love hearing your voice. I've heard my voice, but I love hearing your voice. And that's why we created the question of the month for the How to Podcast series. I know other people do this, and they do it really well. I wanted to copy this because it gives me the opportunity to hear from you. So, question of the month for September is a question for anyone can answer this. You don't have to have a podcast to answer this question, okay? So if you're feeling like, well, I would answer the question if I had a podcast, but I don't, so I'm not going to respond. I'm talking to you, first of all. Please respond, because you can still answer this question in a profound way, which could help somebody. Okay, so you're welcome to respond. If you have a podcast, whether you have one episode or 2 million episodes, you can respond to this and give me your feedback and share it with our audience. And it's a really simple question. For the month of September, we're collecting your responses. You're going to go to my howtopodcast.ca website. You're going to click the SpeakPipe link on my howtopodcast.ca website, and that allows you to record a voice message. Now, it's not like you have to be perfect. You can record it. If you don't like it, you can just start over. But you get a 5-minute window of recording time. That's lots of time, okay? And if you need more, then just use it twice. But record your answer to this question. You're going to tell me who you are. I want to know your name. I want to know the name of your podcast, if you have one. And then answer the question of the month. Okay, so the question of the month is, what is one piece of advice that you have for a new podcaster? Now, again, this isn't 35 pieces of advice. No, just one. You had the chance to give one piece of advice. I'm curious to what your advice would be for a brand new podcaster listening to this show from a fellow podcaster like you, or a soon-to-be podcaster like you, or someone who's pod curious who might eventually have a podcast. All of you have a platform here on the How to Podcast series podcast. So that's why we're doing this. Again, we want to shout you out. You're the most important part of this. Okay? It's not about me. It's not about the question. It's not really about the answer. It's all about you. I want people to fall in love with you and come listen to your show and support you. That's the reason why we're doing this. And it's thinly veiled in the response to the question of the month. Okay? So get new listeners, because everyone asks me, Dave, how do I grow my show? How do I have more people listen to my podcast? And I say, simple. Respond to the question of the month on the howtopodcast.ca website for the How to Podcast series and let people know that you have a show. The first way to grow your show is to tell somebody about it and then let them tell other people about it. That's a great way to grow your podcast. So I'm inviting you to respond to the question of the month. Again, go to howtopodcast.ca and link in the show notes below on your phone or wherever you're listening. Go there, click the SpeakPipe link, leave me a voice message, tell me your name, tell me the name of your show, and answer the question of the month. What is one piece of advice for a new podcaster? What do you want to tell them? What should they know as they start their journey as a podcaster? I would love to hear your answer over at howtopodcast.ca. And reminder, our meetups are back up and running. If you want to meet these other podcasters in person, howtopodcast.ca. Talk soon, and I can't wait to hear your responses for the question of the month. Thanks for listening.